Morning, everybody. Thank you. We've already been through the formal debate. We already know about the formal debate wherein the chair calls the House to order. What does the director do after the chair calls the House to order? Temur, settle down. Present and voting.
Roll call.
Roll call. Okay? Once the roll call is done, you have to remember something during the roll call also. You shouldn't say present. When you say present, you will not have voting rights. Okay? You must say present and voting. Clear? Then the next thing is we set the agenda. After we set the agenda, we go on to set the speaker's time. Okay? After the speaker's time is set, then the chair will call the countries by their alphabetical order, and you come up, you read your policy statements. Right? Formal debate. All of you are familiar with the formal debate, the way the formal debate is working. You come up here, you read your policy statement, and then if the House has any points of information, that point of information is cleared during the during the formal debate. Now, what I have noticed in admin practice sessions so far is there are delegates who get up and ask, has this country so and so signed this treaty, this convention? Please don't ask questions like that. If you're going to ask a question like that, Yaniki, has this country signed this particular treaty, then be sure to ask a follow-up which is going to justify you asking that question. Maybe you want to ask why exactly you have signed this treaty when in your position paper, your position is this. What is the complete deal about the formal debate? Each and every one of you, your position papers on 2 topics will be uploaded to on the website. Okay? Which means now Yahya's paper will be read by somebody else who is an ICS or AGS or ASAP. All of those delegates will also have access to your position paper. They will know about your country's position even before you go into the real conference. This is the way it happens in the actual United Nations. Every country's ambassador writes down his country's position paper, and that position paper is available to every member state of the United Nations. And before they get into the formal debate in itself, they get together, they talk, they have a little bit of, gossip and everything. Not gossip, basically. They talk it out, yeah. And they come to a consensus even before they come up there. Okay? But when they do come up there, then what's the big deal? Maybe at that point when they do come up there, something else has happened in the world and their position might be changed. So, in the formal debate, basically what they're doing is, they're trying to clarify why that position changed. Clear? So, don't ask questions for the sake of asking questions. You will have access to the position papers of the other delegates on the internet. Make sure that you read up their position papers. You don't have to be reading 120 to 260 papers. You are going to be in a committee. Security Council people actually are very, very lucky. You have to read only 14 more papers. Security Council. 14 position papers you need to read. All the other councils, yes, you're going to have 27, 28, 29 papers. Out of that, to make your work easy, just your country, look at your country. For example, if you take India is and look at your topic. Let's take the topic, Libyan oil crisis, ECOSOC. Okay, let's take ECOSOC, Libyan oil crisis, and India. Okay, now how is India being affected by that crisis? Which are the countries with which India is having trade relationship in the European continent? And what relationship is India having with Libya? Those questions answers, if you find out, you can pinpoint those countries whose position papers you should be interested in. Understand? So you don't have to go ahead and read all 29 position papers of those people. Clear? You read those specific papers, understand what they are asking you to do, understand what their position is, And prepare your questions well in advance. Understand? Prepare your questions well in advance for the formal debate.
And we don't want questions saying, what has your country done?
Exactly. That is so, I don't want to use words, okay? It's not at all nice. Don't ask a country, what are you doing to help out this country?
Yes.
The very, very infamous question to USA. What has USA done for this? Come on, the whole world knows what USA is doing. Okay? Can't. We'll get to that later. So, did you understand what's happening in formal debate? So in formal debate, you need to know, you need to get your points of information sorted out. Points of information should be aimed to clear a certain position. Understand? Then you should also know that the positions of every country is clearly known. It will all be uploaded, and you should make it a point to read up the position papers of the countries in your committee. Please don't make the mistake of reading up everything. And in the web page, I would have look for the sidebar where it says committees. Okay, and in the committees, click on your particular committee. All the position papers relevant to your committee will come up. Okay, then you must see to it that you clarify positions. That's what you're doing in formal debate. Basically, you're clarifying your doubts with respect to the written position paper which that particular country has put forward. Clear? Then, after this, in the session, supposing you get bored with it, one of you raises your placard and says, what do you say? Motion for a break. Be specific, 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Okay? And the chair will either agree or disagree. Actually, the chair will ask for a second. If it is seconded, they get into voting, and then the chair will announce the break. You will break for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and be sure to come back promptly. Okay? After that, again, via a motion, you will pass into the moderated caucus, which is the informal debate. Now, the moderated caucus actually is the most interesting part. Why? Yes?
We won't have break during the formal debate.
Yes, you can have break in between the formal debate. See, excepting the Security Council, basically. Security Council is like 15 members only. And their formal debate might run into long times and all these things, okay? Depending on how the position papers are and how heated the the condition of the committee is. All the other committees, you're having 30 members. 30. And one observer, Palestine. Okay, I'll clarify the position of the observer towards the end. You're having 30, which means, like, see, for example, one person comes up here, Afghanistan is up here reading his position paper. He reads his position paper for 1 minute and 30 seconds. After the 1 minute and 30 seconds, the house is open for points of information. And while clarifying the points of information, he might, either the question might be long, his answer might be long. 5-10 minutes. So basically, even if 5 people are doing it, somewhere around 50 minutes for 5. And being very practical, high school students, for you to sit even for 45 minutes in the same place, absolutely doing no talking, but just passing notes. Of course, that part you will all love, passing notes. Yeah?
But do remember, it's going to be censored by the chair.
Yes. It'll be censored by the DA first, and please don't write anything which you will be ashamed of to the DAs. Okay? Because if you do write something like that, the DA has every right to come and complain to the director, and sometimes if the director feels that this particular case is warranted, he or she might actually read it in the open committee, and that's not good. I do not want any of my Al-Nada students to misbehave in such manner. Respect everybody else. Okay? Now, so answering your question, Daniel, you can move in after, let's say, after 45 minutes or something like that, during the formal debate itself, raise your placard and go for a motion for a break, or after 15 minutes, but be practical, and in case you have a lot to finish, then try to sit in for at least 1 hour before you go for a break. Yes?
Which comes first, the informal debate or
The formal debate first, and then the informal debate, and then the moderated caucus. Okay? So, in the moderated caucus, what happens is, first understand the reason. Why are we having a moderated caucus? The reason for the formal debate is to clarify the positions. When the clarification of positions are happening, be shrewd, because you might find some points there which you want to argue. The argument is not done in the formal debate. The argument is made in the moderated caucus. Okay? So whatever point you want debated and argued, write it down in the form of a statement or in the form of a question to whom you're going to address and everything during the formal debate itself. Pay attention, write down that question, and argue in the moderated caucus. Why am I telling argue in the moderated caucus? Because in the formal debate, the chair will not allow you to go on following up, follow up. No. This will happen but in the moderated caucus. Why? Because in the moderated caucus, it is nothing but a flow of thought. Okay? For example, let's give me a nice interesting case. What did you prepare for today?
It's like huge topic.
Terrorism.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's not take something very controversial, but let's take something very interesting. And I asked you to prepare for moderated caucus. So does anybody have any? Okay, Afghanistan. What question have you come up with?
Well, actually, I haven't thought of the question. I was just going to say. Well, maybe you can ask something like, what has the country been?
Name. You specifically have. Wait a minute. You specifically have a point to prove with US of A, especially with their troops in your own country. So you should have come prepared to argue with that point. Okay? So let's assume Afghanistan wants to ask US of A, when are they going to withdraw their troops? Okay? Now he can't ask that in the formal debate. In the formal debate, he has to stick to the position paper. In the moderated caucus, that is the time when he can actually ask that question. And then US of A, now he stands up and he puts forward that question to the delegate of US of A. US of A is required to answer that question. Clear? Now when US of A is answering that question, based on his answer, he might have another question. Okay? So in that, I'll come to you. Wait. In that, so what happens in here is, he requests for a follow-up with the chair, and the chair will grant the follow-up, and he will again ask his question in order to clarify that particular position. In this in this debate, if any other country is having a position, is having a point which is going to help Afghanistan, or which is going to help US of A, they note it down and they keep it. They wait for their dialogue to finish. Once their dialogue is finished, or once the chair thinks that they are both going into places where things are irrelevant, or that the argument is too heated up, the chair will stop that debate. The chair will at one point of time deny a follow-up question, which is when that train of thought ends. Of course, obviously after that he can again keep that in mind, and later on at a later time he can again bring up that position, bring up that point of inquiry. Okay? Yes, now what is your question?
What if the delegate is unable to answer the question which has been asked?
The delegate is unable to?
Answer the question which has been asked.
Okay, then the delegate gets up and says, this delegate will get back to you during the unmoderated caucus, or
what if this happens in the unmoderated caucus?
No, this is the moderated caucus. In the unmoderated caucus, that is lobbying. Nobody is going to supervise. Yani your chairs are not going to come around and there's nothing like this formal question and answer. It's just like friends going and talking. For example, you want to clear up an issue with the delegate of Afghanistan. You just go up to the delegate of Afghanistan and you state your position. Okay? like that. That's what happens in the lobbying. So during that time, you will tell, you will get back to him if you don't have an answer. But see to it that you always do have an answer. Yes, sorry, Daniel.
I have a question about the unmoderated caucus.
Okay.
Are the observers, like Palestine, are they allowed to sign the resolution?
Palestine can sign resolutions. Okay? They can be signatories. They cannot be sponsors. Okay, that's the thing. And another thing is, when the House is going into voting, they will have to leave the committee. And the doors will be closed. Yes. Why do you think that this particular condition is now in open debate, and why do you think Palestine wants a member position so much? Because they cannot vote on certain issues which are very relevant to them in the committees. They cannot put forward their point of view the way the other member states are putting it forward. When you're recognized as a country, you have certain rights which cannot be denied to you. At the moment, Palestine does not have those rights. Okay? So that's why that particular issue is such a debatable, it's such a heated topic. Yeah.
There was something about the handbook about on 23rd of February.
Yep. Your resolutions.
Yeah. No, it was something that we have to come here and the Palestine will talk.
No. That's about the opening ceremony. The opening ceremony's format is completely changed. Okay, I'll get to that last. Let me finish with this informal debate first now. Yeah? Let's stick to the train of thought.
So basically the questions to be asked in the formal debate should be related
to the position paper. And the chairs, you have to be very careful. If they ask any question which is not related to the position paper, it's irrelevant and deny them. Okay? Overrule those questions. Those kind of questions can be asked only in the moderated caucus. In the formal caucus, see to it that they ask questions which are related to the position paper which is being read. Okay? Then, yes.
Can we open a point to the House, ask questions?
Yes, you can put forward a statement. Okay, all of those things. That is basically, for example, now Afghanistan wants to make a strong point against the troops, UN troops which are there in the country, then they can make it in the form of a statement instead of putting it across as a question. They can just make it in the form of a statement and sit down. Maybe USA has something to get back for that to that statement. USA can again raise its placard and go for a point of inquiry and address that issue to Afghanistan. Okay? But you can do that. You can make a statement. It is actually stronger. Making a statement is stronger. Okay? You can make a statement and you can have your seat. Yes.
Make a statement in the form of a rhetorical question?
Yes, you can. But be sure that it is worded very well and that everybody understands what you're trying to talk about. You're representing Palestine, and I want you to do a really good job. Okay? You've got to see to it that people really start thinking. Those should be the type of questions, those should be the type of statements which you put forward. Okay? Yep.
Two delegates are talking, and if another delegates can...
yes, you can, but you have to raise your placard and...
we can help support the points which is saying.
Exactly. You can do that, but you have to get the permission from the chair. Okay? When this debate is going on, wait for that debate to get over. Note down what it is you wanted to say, in support of whom, and then raise your placard. Okay, in the next recognition, when the chair asks, are there any points of inquiry, raise your placard, and the chair will recognize only one person. Okay, you will all raise your, those of you who want, you will raise your placard, but the chair will recognize only one, because that one person, whatever it is he or she wants to talk, has to be done. Now the chairs, I will be instructing the chairs to keep their own list, the director basically. Once one particular recognition is done, they will see to it that they don't come back to that country after everybody else's. Whoever raised their placards, they will make a note of who raised their placards and whom they have given chance to speak, so that they should be fair. Being a chair and a director is not an easy job. The director has to keep note of who they gave recognition to, whose point has been heard, whose point needs to be heard. So and so is going on repeatedly raising his or her placard. I do not want delegates to come and complain to me. Last year the secretariat got this particular complaint that, Miss, I'm raising my placard and the chairs and directors are not recognizing me. Okay, this goes to the chairs and the directors. See to it that nobody has that complaint. See to it that you recognize everybody. One recognition during the moderated caucus, allow that train of thought to be completed. Then again, when you ask for point of inquiry, don't give the chance to a delegate whose original point has been already recognized. Give the chance to the delegate who wants to say a new point. Okay? Then that's point of inquiry. Basically, you are putting forward a certain inquiry. You're inquiring about something. You're not clarifying anything now. You're inquiring. You're trying to make people think. Okay? That's point of inquiry. Then I just told you, you've got to make a statement. You can discuss. You can argue, but please don't go for it more. Okay? You can convict, but do it with respect and dignity. Don't do it with cruelty. Okay? And you can convince. Go for this. Try to convince the House. Okay? Don't go for conviction and argument more. Go for convincing and discussing. Clear? Then, point of inquiry and informal debate is all about one particular thought. You'll have 28 to 30 or 50 thoughts floating around. Okay? You've got to see to it that you discuss everything out. After this, you make a motion. Now here, it's not necessary that all 30 will be heard or something like that. Okay? When the House is open for a moderated caucus, when the motion is made, you will make it specifically with a time limit. Motion to move towards the moderated caucus for 30 minutes. Is the motion seconded? The motion may be seconded. If the motion, and then the chair will again ask, motion to move towards moderated caucus for 30 minutes. Is there anybody against this motion? If you want to move for moderated caucus for 45 minutes or 20 minutes, raise your placard immediately. The chair will recognize you, and then you can say, I motion to move toward, this delegate motions to move towards a moderated caucus for 45 minutes.
Between the formal.
Huh?
Between the formal.
No, after the formal debate, when you're moving towards the moderated caucus. I forgot to tell this to you. You have to be specific about the time, and the director will be keeping the time. Okay? So after 45 minutes, the chair will announce time for moderated caucus is over. If you want to extend it, make a motion from amongst yourselves. That the committee can work on. Okay? Or else you can go for a break. You can have a break, come back for the moderated caucus. Okay? Or you can move towards the unmoderated caucus. Unmoderated caucus is nothing but the lobbying. Here you will edit your resolutions. You will find people for signatories and sponsors. I'm going to finish off the lesson with resolution writing also. There's not going to be another lesson for you for resolution writing. This is it. Okay? Resolutions are the main point of ADMUN. For example, you are coming up with a solution for, let's say, ECOSOC, the Libyan oil crisis. Okay? Basically, there's no Libyan oil crisis. Okay? Libyan oil, yes, it's going on. Libyan economy is strong, but because of the political uprising in Libya, it's the European economy which has suffered. And you're not asked to address this issue directly. You are asked to address a specific question. And the question is, what can you do to prevent such a thing? That is, if one country is having a political uprising, this political uprising is affecting the economy of the world. Is there anything you can do to avoid that? Okay? That's what you have to find out. Clear? So you will come with your resolution. You will come with your idea. That's the resolution. Yes, Daniel, what is it?
And the handbook is not specified that which issues are which issue is for open agenda.
Open agendas, yeah. Some of the open agenda is specified. Okay, in some of the companies. No, it's the chair's decision.
So we prepare our position paper for all issues?
No, you prepare the position paper for the first two issues. The last one is open agenda. Basically, it's going to go to moderated caucus. You will not have a formal debate on the last issue. And in addition to it also, the chairs might have. For example, if you take the Security Council, the chair is debating on having a really very interesting topic in the Security Council as an open agenda. He has 3 topics in his Security Council. The first 2, and already one is there as open agenda in the handbook. In addition to it, he's researching into one more topic. Okay?
This last year, what happened that in our open agenda, the topic for our open agenda, the chairs and the director, they said that we'll have a formal debate on that open agenda.
No. Formal debate on the open agenda is not fair. It's not fair because you will need to have a position paper for the formal debate. You will have an informal debate. You'll have a moderated caucus on the open agenda. That is strictly done. This year, this is it. Now this what is recorded is going to all the schools. So all the chairs know this rule. Nobody can claim at the last minute that they did not know. This is going to be uploaded today. Okay? So all of you know, all of them will also know. Clear? In the open agenda topic, you are going only for moderated caucus. You are not going to go there with a position paper prepared. You are going to go there with points of inquiry. Clear? But the thing is, the chairs will already announce the open agenda topic.
At the end of this week.
Yeah, at the end of this week, inshallah, because I have asked them to come out with their address to their committees. In the address to their committees, they will talk about the open agenda, what they are having in mind. Okay? Then, coming back to resolutions. Resolutions are the most important part of admin. Now there are 2 parts to the resolution. Okay? Now before we go to the 2 parts, let me tell you about the sponsors and the signatories. Sponsors are people who are for the resolution. Let's assume now India, Daniel, has prepared a resolution for this ECOSOC problem with respect to the world economy suffering because of political uprisings in one particular country. Okay? So his idea, let's assume, Iran likes his idea, Afghanistan likes his idea, Australia likes his idea. Okay? So what they do during the lobbying, not during the moderated and formal caucus, no. During the lobbying, the unmoderated caucus, when they are all moving together, because by the time these four will know, okay, India is thinking on these lines, okay, so we can have an alliance with India, or we can support his idea.
And make a generalized resolution. You combine your draft resolution, you take points from there, and then make one resolution with the sponsors.
See, you have like allies as well, right?
Yes, you do have allies. Basically, you will go for sponsors with your allies. So do your research very well. Okay. So let's assume these 4 countries, they come together, okay, and they look into their draft resolutions which they have made. They combine their draft resolutions and they make one resolution. In that one resolution, these 4 will put their names as, not their names, their countries' names as sponsors. Now, let's assume US of A, Russia is allied with India. Yeah, okay, let's say US of A, Russia and China, okay. Now they take a look at this resolution. There is one point which US of A does not agree with in the resolution. Okay, he doesn't agree with that. You know what he does? He puts his name as a signatory. Okay? So understand this very well. Sponsors are people who are completely for the resolution. Signatories are people who want to see this resolution debated. Okay? So, and for a resolution to come onto the floor, coming onto the floor means, now they write the resolution, but they have to get the support of the people in the committee. So the chair will assign 25% of the committee as signatories. They will calculate. Now there are 30 delegates, okay? 25% of 30 have to sign in as signatories. So you have to go around asking the people to sign your resolution as signatory. So you get your signatories, you get the countries as signatories, then you will give your resolution to the DA, soft copy and hard copy. Okay? One hard copy wherein you have made all the cutting and crossing and everything, where you have done your complete editing on the hard copy. Name of the signatories and the sponsors on the hard copy. With a good soft copy to the DA. Why? The DA will look at the hard copy where you made the corrections, and the DA will sit on the computer and he will do the editing on the soft copy and take out the fair draft. You should have the soft copy as well, always. No, you don't have to edit the soft copy, you will be editing on a hard copy. So you have to have soft copy and hard copy of your rough draft, of your, your draft resolution. Yes.
Last year, the Home Government selected the resolutions.
Home Government, wait a minute, I'll come to that. So basically what is happening here, you're all doing this work and you're giving it to the DA, right? The DA takes a copy of this fair resolution which is passed by the director. Before it goes to the DA, you have to come to the director, okay? The director in alliance with the home government, not director alone. The director in alliance with the home government will check the resolution and they will say okay for the resolution. The director will assign a number. Okay, that resolution number and everything has to be typed onto the resolution. The DAs will have a class on resolution writing. Yeah.
And like India can be a signatory for more than one resolution?
Yes, India can be a signatory on more than one resolution, but India can sponsor only one resolution. Okay, got it? So that's about the legal aspect of the resolution. This is how the resolution has to move in the committee. Now the resolution in itself is divided into two clauses. It's like this. Let's assume that person over there who's talking, okay, now he's talking. So I pull him up and I go like, why are you talking? Etc, etc, etc. I give him a nice dose. I give him a good piece of my mind. He goes like, Ms. Lavina's seriously having something against me. I'm not going to leave this. I'm going to take it to Ms. Aman. I'm going to take it to Mr. Adnan. Okay? So he goes over there. That's the court. Okay? Now how does he plead his case? He goes like, you see Mr. Adnan, I was just clarifying a small little doubt with this friend of mine, but she picked me up and she scolded me. While on the other hand, there was Kashif and there was Usman who were always talking and she did not say anything to them. Understood? Did you understand what he's doing? He's basically saying, I did the same thing which these two did. She did not punish them, she punished me. Clear? Now this is the first part of your resolution. It's called the preambulatory clauses. Okay? Preambulatory clause is, you will quote back to a certain case, to a certain other resolution which was passed by the UN. Okay? This was the situation. This is what happened then. You are deriving support from what happened then and basing, now this happened at that time. So I am proposing that you do it like this. Comes the operative clauses. In the operative clause only you are telling what you're going to do, what you want to do. But you're getting support for your operative clause from the preambulatory clause. Understand? You don't have to go back and quote 10 preambulatory clauses. Please don't do that. It's enough if you get 3 preambulatory clauses. And it's very easy for you to find the preambulatory clauses. It's all over the internet. And in the handbook I have given you a very good resolution also. Okay? So just go through that resolution, how that resolution is written. Another important part of it is that the beginning words have to be the words which are there in the handbook.
Recognizing.
Okay, recognizing, calling for, reaffirming. Yeah, all of those words. You've got to use those words. I've given you a good big list of those words also. You can choose any words which you want, but see to it that it is strong. Why? Reaffirming means there's already something. This particular point has been affirmed or has been passed by a particular point. Now you are reaffirming, so you're giving additional strength to it. Okay? So that's about your resolutions. So I've preambulatory clauses, operative clauses. Now coming to the debates. Writing of the resolution is one thing. After the resolution is written, you will debate on the resolution. Debating on the resolution is a formal debate. Why is it a formal debate? Because now you will have to ask questions based on the resolution which is being read out. And in order to be fair for you, the resolutions will be photocopied and given to everybody, and the chairs will also have to give you 10 to 15 minutes time to read the resolutions so that you will get your questions. Do you get the link, the formal debate, how it is? Position papers, you know the position paper and you're writing down questions based on the position paper. Resolution, you know the resolution because the resolutions will now be given to you, photocopied and given to you. You will read the resolution and you will base your questions on the resolution. And when this person, the chair will basically call for the sponsor to come and read out the resolution. Okay, one sponsor will be on the dais reading out his resolution. And whatever question you have, they will ask: Is the delegate open for points of information? Okay. When the house is open for points of information, raise your placard. The chair will recognize all of you who have raised your placard, or most of you have raised your placard, and then the chair will give you the opportunity to ask questions. If you are not satisfied with the answer given by the sponsor over here, you will make it a point not to vote for that resolution. Okay? Or, if you want to vote for that resolution, but you have an amendment, that is, you change. Okay? You want to make a small change, and then you will vote on that resolution. For example, he says he's willing to give aid in the form of food and clothing and all of these things, but you want aid in the form of monetary help. So you will make that resolution. You will make that modification.
That will be passed by the House.
Okay? That is called an amendment. Okay? You can write it in the form of an amendment, and you can send it to the chair. You will have amendment slips and everything.
Which we can add new.
Yes, you can add a new clause. You can add a new clause. You can try to amend it by deleting a clause.
And remember, for each amendment, you have to explain why you're amending it, and you have to, there will be a simple majority, and then it will be amended.
There will be a voting on the amendment. Yes, Bilal, what is it?
You can only change the operating clause, right?
Yes, not the preambulatory clauses. The preambulatory clauses are not going to be debated upon. Only the operative clauses are going to be debated upon. Why? Because it's the operative clauses on which you are going to make action. The action is based on the operative clauses. The preambulatory clauses is just support. It's like, Mr. Adnan, she did not tell anything to him. Why should she tell to me? That's the preambulatory clause. So you're not debating on it. Mr. Adnan will not debate on that thing. He will ask me, you did not pull those two. Why did you pull him? That's preambulatory. Okay, so don't debate on the preambulatory. You're debating on the operative clauses. For example, in this case, it'll be like, okay, how did you punish him? You scolded him. Why you could not have taken him outside and scolded him? Should you scold him in front of everybody? Did you make him write an imposition? Why did you have to make him write an imposition? Is he in the primary class? Those are operative clauses. What I did after that. Okay? So that you can debate on. Yes, Harshan.
Sponsors can take one resolution. They can divide them. Who are going to explain what? India can explain the first two. Afghanistan will explain the last two operative clauses. You could also do that, so that everyone can.
You're supposed to read out the preamps.
Yes, you're supposed to read out the preamps, but you're not supposed to explain the preamps. You're only supposed to explain the operative clauses. Okay? So whoever is going to stand here and explain the operative clauses should be the strongest of the sponsors. Okay? Because that person will have to answer the points of information which are coming out from here. Are we clear with respect to this debate? Yes, yeah. This will happen in every committee, but this will happen towards the end. Maybe at the end of the day 1, you will have come to this position on one issue. And at the end of day 2, you will come to this position for the second issue. Okay? It's a long process. When I'm explaining this, you can see, it's going to take a long time. Clear? Yeah, it's tiring. That's why the house will have to break a few times. You'll need some breaks. You'll need some lobbying in between. It's not like formal, moderated, then lobbying. It could be formal, lobbying, then moderated. Okay? So depending on how the atmosphere is, how the feeling is within your committee, you can go ahead and do it. Then, voting. When the house goes to voting, basically it will be the chair who goes for that. The chair is not going to ask for a motion for voting. Okay? If you get tired of the debate, then okay, you can raise your placard and ask for a motion to vote, for the house to go to voting procedure. But why is the chair here? If the chair feels that the resolution has not been properly debated, or there are certain points which need to be debated, the chair will not allow the house to go to voting procedure. Okay? So you debate on it, and then you go into voting. When the voting is done, one DA will stand inside, one DA will be outside. Why? That one DA who's outside will let the other people know who are trying to get into the committee. No, the committee is in voting procedure, you cannot go. Closed doors. The other DA who's inside, when the voting is over, he opens the door. which means the voting is over. Now the committee is open for other people to come. The press will not be inside. The IPD will move out. Okay? Home government will stay. But the IPD will move out. IPD is not privy to the voting procedure. Am I making myself clear? And only one DA inside. Then, yeah, that's pretty much it about the admin, and I took 10 minutes extra.
Ms. Mohammed,
Yep.
it's not related to admin, but can we get comfortable chairs this time?
We'll debate. No, we will definitely try to, have something to do with Abu Dhabi University. Yeah? Yeah, last year Security Council chairs were awesome.
That's not fair.
Those expensive ones.
Security Council is like, it's huge. I mean, we'll try our best, okay? Questions? Quiet. Yep. Wait a minute, boys. There's a question from the delegate of USA. Go on. If a delegate
makes a false comment, like we have done research on that country.
Yes.
Informal point of order.
Okay. In the formal debate, during the point of information, and if the false accusation or statement is made in the position paper, it's very good time for you to actually pinpoint that.
Point of order?
No, point of information, you can stand up and you can tell, because the position paper is already on the internet, okay? Now, unless and until that particular person has not done his research properly, this mistake should not happen. Because the one who's uploading it on the website will not check for accuracy with respect to situations. Yeah, when he finishes and when the chair opens the house for points of information, raise your placard, get recognized, stand up and point out the mistake. But do it nicely. Don't do it like, like a big this thing. Yes, same in moderated caucus. It's actually good if you can find out stuff like that. Yes, go on.
Miss, I just wanted to get the point of order thing.
It's basically your discomfort, you think that the person who's stating it, he stated it wrong, it's not relevant to the topic at all.
Point of
order, this question is out of order, or just informing the chair or making him aware of the situation.
As much as possible, make points of orders less. Okay? Basically, in point of order, you're challenging the chair. Point of personal privilege.
You don't go with them
yes.
with books.
If you want to make a point of order, and be nice to the chair, write it down as a note and send it through the DAs. Okay? And point of personal privilege is AC is too hot, AC is too cold, switch off the AC, the room is too hot, or raise your voice and speak. Don't go too fast, don't go too slow. Yes. Chair is quite uncomfortable. I really want to stretch my legs, want to go out. Nah, that's point of personal privilege. Yes, Taimur. Wait, Taimur. Yep, you had a question.
Yeah, can you get into affairs of other countries? Like, if there's a conflict between France and New Zealand, and I, being UK, ask France that why have you done this to New Zealand?
You can do that only in the moderated caucus and keep it relevant to the topic which is being discussed. Okay? Yes.
How does the chair ask the delegates for the voting thing?
When all the resolutions are debated and you know that there are no more points to be clarified, you will announce, you will say, the House will now move into voting procedure. The doors are now closed for voting.
So first the clarification and then the voting.
Yes, voting. Okay? And you will call them by their, that is, there also there's a procedure. That happens only in the Security Council, so you don't have to follow it. Yeah.
Can the IPD ask questions from the delegate?
No, the IPD will not participate in the debates. Taimur, IPD will be quiet and will observe. Okay? IPD can talk only afterwards. Clear? IPD, yeah. IPD can talk during the breaks. You can take interview of the delegates. You can interview the chair. You can interview anybody. Any more questions? No. Okay, so I'll stop recording. Home government does not have point of. Yeah, you can write it down and send it to the chair.
I think that's finished.
Yeah.